Hey guys, welcome to the section named What are AJAX calls? In this particular section, we are going to introduce an important terminology called AJAX, and also we'll discuss the importance of AJAX and we'll see the reasons why we need AJAX in first place. By doing so, we'll also look at the real world example where AJAX is really used in most of the applications that are up and running in the internet. And finally, we will discuss the approach of our application. So let's get started. So what is AJAX? Simply put, AJAX is mainly for making the web asynchronous. Do not get afraid with the term asynchronous. We'll get back to that in this particular section. So remember that AJAX is not a protocol. It's just a technique that will allow the web developers to make the web page asynchronous. Asynchronous is the core important part of AJAX. And if you make the web page asynchronous, your web page will become much more responsive. In today's fast moving world, if your web page is taking ages to load, then your customers under much more worst experience. So using AJAX appropriately and cleverly will make the web page responsive, which will help your customer satisfaction improvement. So we have already answered several questions like why we need AJAX. So the first point is we need to make sure that our page loads faster. With AJAX, we can push long running process into an asynchronous mode, hence achieving the page load faster. And we already discussed making the page much more responsive. And we could also able to handle real-time data. All right. So let's go and see a real-world example where AJAX is being used. So let me open up Reddit JavaScript page. So you could able to see that the page is loaded with a lot of information and links, tutorials to JavaScript as such. Now the important point of AJAX is making your web page asynchronous. Imagine I'm just scrolling down. All right. So when I scroll down, and if you see over here, automatically from my mouse down event, and request is being sent or fired to the web server. So where we can see this is in our Chrome developer console. Under the network tab, let me go and click on stop and record the network events. Let me go and scroll a bit more down. Now here we see. Now I'm just going to make sure it's much more bigger. Here you could be able to see that a request, which is nothing but an HTTP request, is sent via the AJAX technique in order to fetch a response, in this case a HTML, which is appended onto the Reddit page. And this is how AJAX technique helps the web page to be more responsive, more asynchronous, and more faster. And that's exactly what I meant by all those terminologies in the first place. The important terminology that I want to talk about is asynchronous, right? So what is asynchronous is, simply put, in this case, when the user is scrolling down, we are sending the request to the server. As you could be able to see it over here, a new request is sent to the server. But at the same time, we are allowing the users to do their own actions. For example, one such action I could be able to do was scroll up and down. But still, the request from the browser is sent to the server in order to fetch the new data. Thus, this particular request, or all the network requests that you are firing in the browser via AJAX, is nothing but asynchronous. Well, you could able to make synchronous call as well, but we will not touch upon those areas because that's really a bad practice. So what we'll do in our application is that we will be following a lot of AJAX techniques to make your web page simple and smooth. And at the same time, we have to answer a question, how, right? There are several approaches there, like you could able to use several libraries out there in the market in order to do these AJAX techniques. But before picking up any one of the libraries, let's go a little bit deep dive and see how to use XML HTTP request API in order to fire AJAX calls.